She felt that her chances of a fair trial were going to be zero. But in the end, just before the trial was due to start and all of this was being processed, she pled guilty. During Matthew's sentencing hearing, Jessica's sister, Lindsay, Zoe's aunt, read Matthew a letter. And it said, "I am sincerely happy no other children will need to go through this. She will never," and she proceeded to say, Zoe will never have a sweet 16 and never enjoy what you robbed her of her. You're a sick and twisted monster. May God forgive you, because neither me nor my family will ever be able to forgive what you did to that baby." End quote. Now, the majority of Zoe's family live in Knightstown, where Zoe was born. And like I said before, they actually do not use Zoe's legal name. They don't want her to be associated with the name Wagner. Instead, they call her Zoe Lee, which is very cute. When they buried Zoe, they actually went to court and won the right to remove Wagner from Zoe's name on the gravestone. So that's cute. I love that they did that. I love that they went to that extent. Now, Jessica, because she pled guilty, was given 25 years for ignoring her daughter's dying needs, so for neglect. She pled guilty to 2 felonies, 2 counts of neglect of a dependent causing serious brain injury, and 2 counts of neglect of a dependent. She will also need to complete 12 years of probation when released. Probation. Now, molestation charges. Let's get on to those, shall we? Because this guy is a fucking sicko. Right. So after Zoe's trial was completed, as well as sentencing, they had to go back to some things that had happened in February of 2014. When the couple was still living in Knightstown, Indiana. So a neighbor's child came forward, stating that Matthew was abusing Jessica's daughter, the eldest daughter, who was 9. When police began the investigation after this claim, they found pictures of the eldest daughter's vagina on Matthew's phone, along with pictures of his own penis. He's so fucking disgusting. So, also, they also found a photograph of a child who was often in his care, her vagina as well. But this is the crazy part, and I know the whole fucking thing's been crazy, but this is the crazy part. He then went on to claim that he only took the photo because the little girl had described and complained about irritation down there of her skin. But the victim, when questioned, said she never said anything like that. She never said that there was discomfort. She never said that there was any issue. And then when Matthew's back in, he's questioned as to what this photo was for. He then tried to say that he was going to send these photographs to the daughter's mother of the daughter's vagina. The mother never received these photos, of course. Whew. Anyway, as they were investigating, detectives, another victim came forward and accused Matthew of forcing a friend of hers to participate in a sexual act. The girl went on to tell police that the abuse occurred when she and a friend were staying the night at Matthew and Jessica's home when they were living in Henry County in 2013. They've moved around a bit from what I could gather. Now, the girl described to investigators that she watched Matthew assault her friend through a crack in the door, which You know, these kids are probably under 10. So, you can't blame them for not coming forward and not doing anything before. These are kids. They don't know. By the way, this is where Matthew thinks he's just awesome. He wanted to save the family a trial, so he may, which he may as well have. It's not like he's getting out anytime fucking soon, if at all. There isn't great medical care in prison. Let's hope the fucking gets coronavirus, eh? But you can only hope. I would love that to go through all those prisons. Fucking hell, tax bills would be nice and low. So, for these charges were added to his sentence. And look, if he does get out of prison, 8 years were added to his sentence. And if he does ever get out of prison, he has to enroll as a sex offender for 10 years following release. Look, it's inevitable that Jessica she'll most likely get out of prison due to the fact that she only received 25 years. But for the life of me, I hope to hell that every single day in there is a nightmare, that 25 years. I really do. Over and over again, she put those children in harm's way, and she knew she put those children in harm's way. She signed documents to say she would not put these children in harm's way. But I've noticed that when a woman keeps a man around and lets him abuse a child, the majority of the time, these women are actually belting the kids as well, because they don't do anything about it, because, hey, I bash them too. Doesn't always mean, physically, of course. It can be mentally and emotionally, but those two are just as bad. I've been through molestation, rape, emotional, mental, all of it, and let me tell you, emotional abuse is just as bad. The problem is there's not a lot of times where these cases are reported, and when someone outside the home makes a report, nothing's done. Nothing's done, especially if a child is in the care of the mother. So, because they're like, oh, well, mother's got it, mother will protect it. It takes, in most cases, a good 10 calls for CPS and the government authorities to have these children looked at, unless it comes from a doctor or a teacher. So calls from the public, they usually go unnoticed for long periods of time. I mean, look at poor little Gabriel. That was just, he should never have been put in that house. Gabriel Hernandez's case is just but they never see if they're victims of abuse, because the parents always put on a front, of course. But something needs to change, and something needs to change soon, because there are children dying left, right, and freaking centre. Because stepmothers, fathers, stepfathers, and other family members or even friends are harming these poor babies, and no one's doing anything about it. No one. I wish I had the answer. I wish I had the funds to throw at these goddamn agencies. But without the public's intervention, and I'm talking, we need a protest or something. We need to do like a Black Lives Matter size protest for these children. Because, something needs to be done. There is just so many little babies that are just coming to... And there's an extremely high amount in Chicago. And I couldn't believe some of the stuff that's happened here in Australia. I couldn't believe it. But we'll get onto that on another one, because I've got some beauties coming up for that. But most of the time, these CPS workers wouldn't have a clue as to what is actually going on in those homes, because they just cannot be fucked doing their job. Yeah, saw the kid, it's breathing, done. Which you find in most cases. We need to do better, and we need to say something if we see something. We need to drag police to these houses. And I know that the laws are messed up in protecting these kids, but we need to be calling day and night. Now, I'll be sure to post photos, links, and clips to all of the social media pages of effed up true crime. As I said, you can find us on social media sites, the main big ones. this week, it's Monday here in Australia. We've got a couple of big cases to discuss, especially one about child abuse case that's actually going on right now. Absolutely before my eyes. And this kid needs help now, but we need the masses to help us get help for this child. And I am hoping that everyone can give us a hand with this, because it's not a publicly known case, but I want to change that. I want it to be public. So please tune in and listen to this little one's story, because it will absolutely break your heart, and you will sit there going, how the fuck is this kid still with its mother? You won't. So this little girl needs to be taken out of harm's way immediately. We need to raise awareness, and we need to raise funds. I will post the GoFundMe links on all pages. It will go straight to the and money goes straight to the legal teams. So please help us support this little girl. It's her father that is absolutely desperate to take her out of harm's way. He is reaching out on everywhere he can, and I just want to get it out there. So I'm going to try and do what I can, promote it, get it out there, pay for promotion, try and, help in any way I can. Yeah. So thank you for joining us, and I will be on doing that podcast and vlog today, because I want to get it all out there, but I hadn't prepared it, it wasn't finished. So that's what I'm going to go and do now, and then I will be back in a couple of hours. So thank you everybody for joining us, and we really appreciate it. We do very, very much so.